and welcome to another edition of East L.A. Sports Scene as we come back into the studio here at the Boyle Heights Technology and Community Youth Center, the home of East L.A. Sports Scene, as we conduct our monthly to maybe a bi-weekly set of shows here as we bring in coaches, players, anyone involved in sports and education at this level here in our community. We always want to accentuate those individuals because why? They are doing a very, very important job with our youth, whether they be at the Pop Warner or all the way to the college level. A lot of our kids, as you know, are playing football, and they really, really love it. They see it as a good way to advance themselves and also through their educations, of course, and play on into, hopefully, one day into college. But right now, at this important moment in East L.A. sports scenes history, we're going to bring in an historical moment here for East L.A. Community College, the home of the ELAC Huskies, and it's our pleasure and distinct privilege to bring in the new head coach, recently named, to guide the Huskies for the 2015 season. And here he is in January with us right now. We want to debut him and introduce him and present him to you, our viewers here on East L.A. Sports Scene. And again, it's our distinct pleasure to welcome Coach Eric Marty.
Rico, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Coach, for coming in. And as they say, there's lots to talk about.
Absolutely.
And in just a limited amount of time. But, Coach, we're going to give you free reign, basically, to talk about the program. But first, you're coming in from Moorpark.
Yes.
And you had a very, very strong career there. And as we noticed in the release, a builder, a constructor, a new age coach that says, hey, we can take programs and get in there and tweak them, work them, build them, restructure them, and lo and behold, winners.
Absolutely.
And, Coach, we're going to let you go from there and start you from there and say the Moorpark experience all the way now to the East L.A. College.
Yeah, Moorpark was a tremendous opportunity for me and a tremendous time of growth. And really, I think a lot of it stems from my time playing abroad and playing for 4 different teams and having success there. You learn how to walk into an organization and make decisions on what is working, what isn't, what needs to be overcome, what doesn't, and where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are, and how you go about that. And so for Moorpark, we had challenges up there, and we really had some challenges on the offensive side of the ball, and a lot of it stemmed from getting the roster to a point where we could compete. And so I had a very dedicated group on the offensive side of the ball of assistant coaches that worked with me, and there's no easy solutions. It's about getting in, working hard, and solving problems. And so we recruited hard, and we got talented guys in there, and we coached them up as best we could. And very proud of the transformation we made as far as taking it from one of the worst offenses in the state to an offense that was top 15 in 2014. And a number of guys got Division I scholarship opportunities and have moved on and matriculated on. And like you said, a lot of guys are. Yes. Football is their vehicle. It's their vehicle to a better education, to a better opportunity. And so, so much of the junior college level is that, and that's what really excites me and gets me going and charges me up as far as getting the opportunity to now do things as well as I think they should be done at this level. And, now I'm the CEO, and I get to affect all those things.
Okay. And, of course, playing at the community college level and coaching is not an easy task by no stretch of the imagination, because that seems to be the one level of play that is always in the shortest period of time to try and develop full, as they would say, full programs.
Absolutely.
To fruition, because you're not going to have the players and the students for that long a period. But you have met that challenge.
Yeah, you have to have a plan on how you go about it, and you also, I think, my experience at Moorpark, my experience as a D2 recruiter out in Oklahoma trying to recruit junior colleges, Southern California junior colleges, you put the pieces together. And, you have a limited amount of time with guys, but at the same time, if you're a high school coach, maybe you have 4 years with a player, but at the same time, 2 years on varsity is, the norm. So these are the challenges you're dealing with, but you got to find solutions. And, at the end of the day, if the payoff is extremely high, both for coaches and for individuals, if you can put together a program that really does things right, and that's what we're going to do at ELAC and give a lot of guys an opportunity to jump to the next level.
And just briefly, Coach, talking about that, as they would say, the enticement of coming to East L.A. College, the interview process, the application process, how much of an experience, how did that go?
Yeah, well, for me personally, I've put a ton of time and thought into how I want to structure and design a program, and really what's best as far as, okay, how are we going to develop guys as athletes and football players and men? How are we going to keep them accountable academically so they stay on track, which is the biggest challenge, because there's so much talent at this level. There's no doubt. It's, can you keep guys on track? And now the third part is selling them and getting their film out in front of every four-year recruiter in the country, and that's what we plan to do.
Okay.
And so, I had the plan there, and now you just have to communicate it. But more so than that, you get to a place and you have to feel it out, and you have to assess it, and whether or not it's a good fit for myself. If it's a good fit for ELAC, if it's a good fit for the community. And so, I grew up in Seattle, played my college ball at Chapman in Orange County.
Yes.
I mean, the irony is when I was a senior in college, I got connected by a local youth coach who wanted me to come out and run a quarterback clinic of all places, Monterey Park.
Oh.
So, back in 2007, 2008, Sundays I was holding clinics at a park in Monterey Park. Who knew?
Yeah.
And so things come full circle, and honestly, there's a stereotype, there's a little bit of a stigma to the East Los Angeles name, and so. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Coming up from Ventura County, you get. Am I walking in the barrio? What's this place look like?
Yes.
And you get here, and it's a beautiful campus and great commerce and a little suburb around it, beautiful houses. You start to say, all right, this is definitely an area that I can recruit to, that I can enjoy myself in. The campus has a ton of resources as far as being the biggest. The L.A. junior colleges. I mean, there's so many things there that. Especially with the West Side kids, with the Norwalk, the Long Beach guys, and then of course locally is where your heart is and where you have to attract. You have to make sure the guys at Garfield and Roosevelt and all the other surrounding schools know, Montebello, know that hey.
Sure.
ELAC is where it's at for you guys, and
Sure.
You're a priority for us. So,
Okay.
As you go through the process, you really begin to understand what it is all about and appreciate it. And I'm so excited to be a part of the community here.
Well, we want to welcome you again, Coach, for the stretch here, because your work is just barely begun.
Absolutely.
And you're going to dig into it and be very diligent and provide all the leadership and all those good qualities that are going to help you to create the winning program that you really foresee and you envisioned already. And part of doing that, of course, are your coaches. We'll speak about the players, but the coaches are going to be critical for you as well.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And so I've been very fortunate. Just about to this point to fill out the staff. We got one or two positions we're still interviewing for, but my defensive coordinator, Coach Rob Hartenfels, is coming over from Occidental. And so before that, he was over at Oaks Christian, and he's got a great pedigree and a background as far as honestly run a lot of the Pete Carroll forefront, one high safety schemes. And, on both sides of the ball, we're going to be cutting edge. We really are. And you talked about it's coaching more and more is turning into a young man's game, and we're not a staff that's run the Veer since 1985. We're a staff that watches NFL film and what's going on in at Division I levels, and if we like it, we borrow it, and if we don't, we continue to do our own things. But so Coach Hartenfeld is going to do a tremendous job for us defensively. I'm really excited about what he's bringing. We got Coach Michael Kleiss, who he's going to coach the linebackers for us. Played at U of A, was a head coach in the area. Leon Williams, defensive line coach, was actually the head coach of the Blackhawks. And
the Inglewood
Blackhawks, absolutely.
Yes,
So championship head coach. He's coaching our defensive line.
Okay.
Coach Dan McDonald played and then was a volunteer assistant coach at Washington State. So he played under Mike Leach, coach under Mike Leach, and so now he's coaching our receivers here. So you have a lot of guys that are going to bring a ton of different elements and a ton of different expertise. And the thing I love about bringing in coaches like that is they have an expectation for how a program should be run. When players walk into a college program, junior college, they should say, okay, this was my high school experience. Now I'm a college football player. The stakes should be raised, the expectations should be elevated, and that's what you're going to get at East Los Angeles. And so I'm so excited to build this staff and to bring in individuals that ultimately are going to do a great job of developing young men and helping them reach their aspirations, which for a lot of guys in this area is to become Division I football players.
And, Coach, as we go from your coaching staff to the players, we know you're now reviewing all of the profiles, all of the resumes and the bios of the players that are going to come back. But recruitment is ongoing.
Absolutely.
And would you have a core group of players you're ready to build upon?
Well, recruitment starts with your own guys. And, when I met with the team, that was my first message. To me, there's no such thing as, oh, you were recruits to the Latin, now I got to go find. We're trying to beat Glendale in game one, and we hope we can do it with a nucleus and a core of returners. That's what we want. And so my message is, hey, I'm recruiting you guys first, all right? And ultimately, the turnaround process, how quickly it happens, really it depends on your talent and your character and your commitment. And for me personally, I was in a turnaround situation in college at Chapman University where we weren't very good, and new staff came in. And me personally, I never believed I was a 3-7 quarterback or whatever it was. And so I was always very hungry for the opportunity to play in a better program, and we got that thing turned around, and I was very proud to play a part in it. It's the same message to these guys. You guys all have pride as football players and what you want to be. So you're getting a fresh slate, a new opportunity. And, are you going to maximize it and be the core that we build on moving forward? Or do we have to wait a year or two until we get a couple more recruiting classes who are going to buy in and do the things we're asking them to do? So it's an exciting time for the returners at ELAC, and it's an exciting time to be a local athlete getting recruited by ELAC because, like I said, we're going to win, and we're going to win quickly, and we're also going to get a vast number of players to the Division I level and the 4-year level, and we're very excited to get this process going. We're
going to go to a break here in a moment, Coach, but let's mark on the calendars for our viewers the historical day here, January 6th, 2015, and that is the day that Coach Eric Marty assumed his new position, his new role as a coach, a head coach at ELAC, East L.A. Community College. And, Coach, were there any special moments there that led up to the signing of the contract, or were you at school? Just kind of give us an idea how that happened.
I was actually on my way up to Santa Barbara to visit some friends, and figured, hey, we're better to wait for the news on a job one way or another than the beach. And I'm driving up there and get the call from athletic director Al Cohn, who informs me of the decision, and I was very, very excited. And so of course the next thing I do is start calling coaches and hey, let's go grab a drink, and oh, by the way, I can recruit you to the staff type of thing. So I mean, for me personally, this is my passion. It's not work. This is what I love to do. This is my profession. And so the second they gave me the thumbs up, I go to work.
All right, and we're going to continue to work with you right here on East LA Sports Scenes, Coach, but we're going to take a quick break as we normally do here in between our interviews. We go 30 to 40 minutes depending on the interest and how the show moves, but right now, after the first segment, we're going to take a break and come back because Coach has already got his new age or his electronic system in motion and set up, and we're going to show that to you when we come back here after our first break on East LA Sports Scene. Head coach Eric Marty here in studio. We'll be right back. And here we are back with head coach Eric Marty in his first month on the job as a new head coach for the East LA College Huskies. And as we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, work is never done. It's 24/7. That's the type of profession it is, because why? Football is America's sport, and across the country, as we mentioned, from Pop Warner all the way up to the pros, there's some football being played right now as we speak. But to zero things in and bring it back here to East L.A. and to what we're all about is giving an opportunity here to head coach Eric Marty to talk about his new program. And we say new because he is the new influencer for football in East L.A. College. And, Coach, as we mentioned on the break, you've got your work to do, and you're going to go, as they say, internet.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, we really believe in what we're doing over here in the program we're running. And when I say we, I mean the entire staff. And we are putting together a big-time, not a big-time junior college program. We're putting together a big-time college program. And, we need to get that message out. And I understand how things work now. And when I was getting recruited way back in the day, first thing you do is you log onto the website and you want to go see what it's about. And so I wanted to make sure that our digital footprint represented what we're doing as a program and the direction we're headed. So, we made sure we invested the time and the resources into our website. It's elacfootball.com. And, it's really paramount in help getting our message out to recruits because, You can say whatever you want about, some of the trials and tribulations of a season or two past, but the reality is, 27 guys have gone to the Division I level since 2010. 97 guys have gone to four-year schools in that same time. When the year started, we had 3 players on NFL rosters. By the end of the year, there was 2, Anthony Denham and Harris, the defensive back out of Dorsey. And so there's been a ton of athletes that have both locally and from the west side that have been able to use East L.A. as a vehicle to help reach their dreams and their aspirations. And so we need to get that message out that East Los Angeles College and football is going to get recruited as hard as any other program in the state. And additionally, what we're doing and the direction we're taking is going to turn it into one of the premier programs in the state.
And going to the homepage, I think we have shown that here while we were speaking to our viewers. And as you mentioned, to that student athlete, maybe that senior, or maybe I would call him a person who may have laid out a year and has his eligibility, to get those players thinking about, hey, let's take a look, let's re-examine East L.A. And all of its facets now. And right away, you've got a great tool.
Absolutely.
On your site. And Coach, it's been reconfigured, as you would say.
Yes. We've been engineered from the ground up, from the new URL to everything on there. And it's a work in progress as far as we're going to continue to add more information to it and more things that will allow the local community and potential recruits ways to get a taste of what the program's all about. And honestly, the hardest part about being a first-year coach, and whether it was being a coordinator at Moorpark or now a head coach, is you're a little bit of the snake oil salesman as far as you're constantly talking about what you're going to do and what we know we can and will get done at East Los Angeles College. In a year, in 2 years, we're going to be sitting up here talking about all the games we've won and all the players that have signed with Division I and four-year schools, and it's only going to get the ball rolling that much more, because now you can point to your body of work. Right now, we're selling a vision. We're selling what we are going to do and our plan for young men in this area. And so we got to get our message out there, and I can't wait for the success that's going to come. And I can't wait till 2 or 3 years now to talk about all the success stories that have come out of Garfield and come out of Roosevelt and come out of Lincoln and come out of Dorsey and Norwalk and Long Beach, Wilson, and all these other places where we're going to recruit, and we're going to recruit hard, and really are going to be tremendous opportunities from young men all over Southern California to come get big-time exposure and get developed here. And
going back to the website as that vehicle, as that instrument to link to you, would there be opportunities for players or student athletes to speak with you via emails?
Absolutely. Our recruit questionnaire is on there, and so right on the homepage it says high school recruits. Click here, and simply you fill out your information, height and weight, contact information, what position you play. Some questions on there as far as if you want to give us more information about your background, but and it's also big for guys that maybe aren't in the local area. Honestly, with the local guys, we're hitting the pavement, we're going out to high schools, we're trying to shake hands and get contact information this way, and make sure that people see the East Los Angeles
brand
logo.
Is great.
Exactly.
Look at that.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so we're going to get our message out. Whether it's via the website and the internet, whether it's social media, which will be forthcoming, or the old-fashioned way of we're going to go shake hands and look you in the eye and ask you what your hopes and dreams are and what your goals and aspirations are, and talk about how we can help you accomplish them.
And you're going to be very supported by Al Cohn and the athletic director, and of course the president of the college.
Absolutely.
He's very, very athletic.
Absolutely. And that's one of the nice things is President Martinez, during the hiring process, and looked me in the eye and talked about how we're going to be supported, and we've been absolutely that so far. And Al Cohn's been instrumental as far as helping us institute some of the changes we need to make. And the reception in the community has been great. We've gotten out to Garfield and Roosevelt already, but Montebello, Bellgate, some of the other places, Norwalk, and out on the west side a little bit. And you
got Torres here now as well.
Yes,
brand new school.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we'll definitely be getting over there. But coaches are excited to see us out.
Sure.
Players are excited to talk to us. And I think in this area there's such a strong sense of community pride that at the end of the day, guys would like to go play football for the Huskies because their older brothers or their cousins, their even their fathers in some cases have, but they need to know that they're going to they want to go to a top level program, and that's what we're here to make sure we provide for them.
Coach, while we have you here, let's look into that quick short-term plan, because we know that February 4th is a National Signing Day, but there's going to be all kinds of football discussions and talk and players going here and going there. But it never stops for you at the community college level. That's always a perennial, as they say, you got to keep making the program offers and available.
Absolutely.
To students.
And, you know, frankly, from a coaching standpoint and going through the interview process with guys, I mean, it's very important that we have well-rounded coaches that can coach college football. Mm-hmm. But if you don't recruit, I say this jokingly to guys, but I'm not that joking. If you don't want to recruit, you either need to be a high school coach or an NFL coach. That's it.
Okay.
You know,
yes, yeah.
and because it's the nature of the beast. And if you're not recruiting, you're doing your program a disservice. You're doing the players that you do have a disservice, because, you know, players can talk about wanting to go D1 and to 4 years all they want. But at the end of the day, football is football. And when you're out there competing and you're winning football games, that's when guys really are enjoying themselves and getting the payoff for all the hard work that everyone's putting in.
Sure.
You know, maybe you've got the Division I scholarship, but when you're getting beat, you know, nobody enjoys that. And so I don't believe you have to have one or the other by any. We're going to get both, and we're going to win football games, and we're going to win football games quickly, and we're going to get guys out. But at the same time, recruiting is the lifeblood of our program.
And, Coach, let's talk about, again, that calendar now, that agenda. As I mentioned, signing day kicks things into a higher gear, but then it'll slow down for a bit, and then all of a sudden there's going to be spring training.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything to inform the potential players out there or the actual players that are getting ready?
We've had, even in our initial team meeting, you know, 35, 40 guys were in that initial meeting, and more have come into the office since. And you know, there's excitement for the area, and guys are excited to get out and go through the process and see what this new coaching staff is all about. You know, I can sit here all day long, tell them blue in the face, and tell you about what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, it's the product we put on the field and the way we serve our young men that's really going to separate us. And so guys are going to really enjoy getting to play in this program. And guys that are serious football players are going to eat up everything that's about to happen. I mean, they really are. Guys that want to be college football players are going to love the exposure. They're going to love the accountability, what we ask out of them, and we're going to develop them and help them become the best players they can.
And as you mentioned, that clock is ticking, and might the public, the community, be able to come in and observe some practices, or you just open the openness of
absolutely. And so we'll have a lot of events through the spring, both with our guys and also from 7-on-7 tournaments to where we'd love to put on a coaching clinic and get some of the local high schools out. And you know, these are things that are works in progress, but we'd absolutely love to have a showcase day. And you know, our first recruiting event will actually have happened this Friday, but we won't have aired by then. But we're having a big recruiting event. 7 p.m. Friday up in the ELAC Garden. We're going to have another one probably, you know, mid-February after the signing day you talked about, where, you know, right now everyone thinks they're going to UCLA or USC, and, you know, signing day comes and goes, and, you know, unfortunately some guys obviously are left out in the cold. And but the beauty of being a Southern California guy is I grew up in Seattle. I didn't have an opportunity to go play junior college because, you know, I didn't have a great school like ELAC right down the street, you know, and so for me, going the D3 route and heading down to California was a great option. But for so many guys in this area, maybe signing day comes and you don't have the offer you want, even if you have the grades, you get a chance to be re-recruited. You get a chance to get another year to get bigger, faster, stronger, put better tape, you know, out there, all those different things. So junior college is such a vehicle, and we're excited to bring that opportunity. And
as you know, Coach, here in our community here in the Barrio in East L.A., it's a family affair. It's when Jose or Juan or Jim or Bob, whoever is going to be recruited, mom and dad are usually there, and brothers and sisters, and I'm sure there's a way that you can receive the entire family to learn more about the program.
Absolutely, and you know, our recruiting night, this initial one is, you know, hey, whoever we'd love to talk to mom and dad, you know, bring the family out, absolutely. But like I said, and these are up on our website. You know, if you go to recent current events, whatever, it's the bottom left tab there, and there's information about stuff. But also, you know, if you're a local high school player, we're probably blowing up your phone right now. You know, I'm sure my coaches are back in the office right now as we speak, making calls and sending out texts. So word's out, and, you know, same thing for players. Anytime they want to come by, contact me. You know, I'll show you around campus personally, and We have so much to offer, and we're so excited to tell all of L.A. County and Southern California about it.
And Coach, I'm going to interject here a concept, and I think it's a reality actually, because your predecessors had always set aside some type of a community service opportunity with schools or hospitals,
Yeah, absolutely.
or those types of things. Is that also going to be on your agenda?
It's definitely a priority, and you know, one of the things about being a new head football coach is it's triage, it's concentric circles, you know. So you have to focus on the core elements, and so when I say that's down the road, I don't mean years down the road, you know, a month or two. But one lesson I learned from my time in Oklahoma as a Division II coach, one thing I saw we did out there that I really liked. When you're a football program, you have abundance of physical labor in the form of big, you know, strong guys that can go in and easily put in 2, 3, 4 hours of work if need be. And so, you know, I think if you partner with a local community center, say, hey, we have 40, 50 guys that would gladly come donate, you know, or volunteer a couple hours on a Saturday, or, you know, same thing with local churches, whatever projects need. Hey, if we can provide the labor, you know, contact me directly. We'd love to partner with you. And, you know, there's one way we can definitely be involved. But, you know, the other thing to me is we are a college campus. So we're not a junior college campus. We are a college campus. Our athletes need to get out and support the basketball team, the softball team, you know, swimming events, whatever it may be, join clubs, do all those things, get the full campus experience, because ultimately if you want people to support you, you also got to, you know, you also got to go support them. And it's not just about being under a rock and you know, being a big dumb jock. It's about going and being a part of the college and whatnot. And for me personally, I think I was very fortunate. You know, my mom's a teacher, my dad's a graphic designer and an artist. So, you know, honestly, my father's the furthest thing from a jockey ever could be. And so, you know, I do have that liberal arts background that, you know, makes you want to be a part of something a little bit bigger than no one loves football more than me. But at the same time, variety is the spice of life, right?
Quick last topic here before we go into our second break here, Coach, but the academics. Again, we haven't spoken too much about that, but also part and parcel. Good player,
I'd love to talk
great
about
student,
it. Absolutely.
And the progression to get to the next level.
There's no doubt.
There's going to be an academic component or unit with your staff.
If you don't have a strong academic system in place at the junior college level, you are failing your athletes. That's the bottom line. And you're doing half the job as a football coach. I cannot stress that enough. And one of the reasons I was so excited and so motivated to become a head coach at this level is because I think a lot of times, frankly, we underserve our athletes. And so, you know, exactly what you talked about. Even last night, Western Kentucky's calling me about one of our athletes, and you know, you get the transcript and he's going to be very borderline, you know, and so it's for the message to the young men is, you know, go to class every day and stay on top of your grades. But I also think that's a little bit asinine from a standpoint of these aren't the guys that went to school for 4 years and then signed with SC, went to high school for 4 years, signed straight with SC. These are guys, a lot of times, some players come to you, they're full qualifiers, they have great grades, but a lot of guys, they need to develop their academic skills, they need to develop their discipline, and so you have to figure out how, you have to embrace that, not just look at a guy who's struggled to pass high school and say, oh, go to class, because that's not going to happen. So here, what we have basically, it's a multifaceted accountability system. But when guys come in, we'll perform 3 grade checks a semester.
Oh, okay.
And we'll work in conjunction with the many school resources we have. But basically, during the first grade check, we're looking for class attendance, and we're looking at your grades, obviously. Firm believer, if you're there sitting in the front row every day, your teacher isn't going to fail you. They fail the guys who they have no idea who this person on their roster is. They've never seen them. And so on that first check, if you're taking care of business and you're going to class and you're getting A's and B's, you're behaving like a grown man. We're going to treat you like a grown man. You keep doing your thing. Now, when guys have multiple absences or C's start popping up, now you have a mandatory hour of study hall and tutoring in that class. Okay. And you know, obviously C's or D's. Now you're going to have 2 and 2, or I'll God forbid F's. But next grade check comes around, if you're back up in the BA range, hey, no more responsibilities. And so that happens 3 times a semester. And we have a dedicated academic counselor. We have free tutoring for all students, but obviously athletes need to take advantage of those resources.
Definitely.
We got a brand new library. The new student centers, success centers coming. So it's our job to hold guys accountable, to make sure they're using the many, many resources that we have as the biggest and academically probably the best of the Los Angeles junior colleges. And so, the other part of it is if you have guys that refuse to buy in, and no matter what there are rewards and there are repercussions to the system. And essentially we give you a stoplight grade. Green, you're doing great. And, oh, by the way, here's a brand new Nike Dry Fit. Yellow, you're not doing so great. Here's a generic Dry Fit. And red, okay, here's the cheapest, crappiest cotton T-shirt I can find. But, at the end of the day, we are looking for guys that want to be college football players.
Sure.
And student athletes is a part of it. If you refuse to go to class, if you don't want to do the academic side, not only are you hurting yourself and your future, but really this isn't the program for you. There's a lot of places that you can go play ball around here who will never perform a grade check. East Los Angeles College isn't one of them. East Los Angeles College, we're about getting guys out, and there's so much talent at the junior college level that never gets out because of grades, and it really is a travesty.
Coach, you said it right there. That's your program, and there will be grade checks. There
Absolutely.
will be, as they say, you've got to be accountable.
There's no doubt.
And responsible. We're going to take a quick break, Coach, and come right back with the third and final segment here. East L.A. Sports Scene, talking to East L.A. College Husky football. Brand new day is now here, and it's Coach Eric Marty taking the controls, and we'll be back to find out more up close and personal with Coach Marty. This is East L.A. Sports Scene. And here we go now, rounding third and heading for home. We're almost into the home stretch here. But before we let Coach Eric Marty leave the studios here at East L.A. Sports Scene, we always take that time for that up close and personal part of Coach Marty's life. And because when he's not working with the players and working in his office and coaches and doing the plays and looking at film, Coach, there's a life. Coach Eric Marty
there
really
used to be a
likes.
life. As of January 6th, not much of one, but we'll get back there eventually.
But, Coach, let's go back to, as you mentioned earlier in the first segment, your playing days as a high schooler, quarterback.
Yeah.
And you're coming from Edmonds, Washington,
Absolutely.
the great state of Washington, Northwest. Take us through your progression.
Yeah, so, growing up, I played everything from junior golf to ice hockey to soccer to baseball, and really got into football late. My freshman year in high school, a day before tryouts, I decided I want to go out and kind of wandered out there. And I said I'd play receiver. They said, well, we need a backup quarterback. And ended up being the quarterback. So I was fortunate enough to start my junior year, and I was, for whatever reason, I always knew I wanted to be a coach and a football coach. And so even my doodles, sitting in church as a 6-year-old, I may have had like 15 people on the field, but I didn't know any of the rules, but I was drawing a lot of squiggly lines. So if that counts for anything. And so when I came out, of high school, I had opportunities really to play both football and soccer, but after starting my junior year at the high school level, and you experience the pageantry and the camaraderie, and also the mix of planning and strategy mixed with creativity. What other sport do? Really 22 guys have a specific job to carry out pre-snap, and then you stop and you try and figure out again. And but at the same time, there's so much room for improvisation and savvy and all those things for guys to separate themselves. And it's such a unique game. And I mean, for me personally, it's always tested my toughness. I think there's so many lessons you learn as a man as far as having to battle through adversity, and there was nothing easy about my college career. It took me a long time to win a starting job. I lost a starting job. I had to win it back. And, these are all such great lessons that have served me well, and also as our young men continue to play this great sport are going to serve them well. And
you have your high school diploma from Meadowdale? In Edmonds?
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, technically in Linwood, but right there on the border. Go Mavericks! So I always bleed Maverick blue. Okay, a native son doing well down here in Southern California. That's right. And then again, awarded state soccer. Yeah, so I was fortunate to be a good player on a great high school team. We won the state championship that year, and so.
Okay.
I was kind of splitting time, playing mostly goalie. We had a bunch of shutouts, really good defense in front of me that made my job pretty easy.
All
but
right.
lucked out with a couple saves and a penalty shootout, and all of a sudden they give you a nice award like that. So, but love soccer. I mean, really love soccer. Love playing the game. Love the creativity, the vision, and also, I mean, you want to talk about great athletes. Well, obviously in America, the majority of ours go to football, basketball.
Sure.
The rest of the world is pouring their money and resources in greatest athletes. So when I see a guy like Messi or Ronaldo or all these
Yes.
unbelievable international superstars, to be the cream of the crop and do the things they do at their level is simply mind-blowing.
Yes.
So I can really, really appreciate that, and so enjoy that very much.
Okay, well, I'm sure you're going to keep your eye on soccer for the rest of your coaching days and
Absolutely.
just as a sports
You always
fan
need a
in
kicker,
general.
right? So.
Absolutely. And now, Coach, let's go into the recruitment to Chapman.
Yeah.
How was that process?
Yeah, so initially I'd gotten letters from Whittier, right down the road, and Occidental, also right down the road, and D3 was probably my ceiling coming out. And again, junior college would have been great for me because when I came out of high school, there's no doubt I was a Division III player. When I graduated, finished my career, I think maybe I could have played at a higher level. But looked around at the SCIAC and some of the teams, and Chapman wasn't in the SCIAC then, but Chapman was a great fit for me. And so, like I said, had to overcome some things, some adversity. I think, you always – the transition from freshman or senior year of high school where you're the star, where you're the guy, you're reading your name in the newspaper, to being a freshman on a football team. We all read the success stories about the guys who go start at Ohio State as freshmen. Well, that's not typical. That's the 5-10%. The reality is that 90% go and go from being stars to runts in a program. You got to weather the storm a little bit, and so.
Okay.
I was fortunate enough to have the support and familial support to get that done, and it paid off handsomely in the end.
And with a degree.
Absolutely, with a degree. Can never discount that.
Okay, and that was the first degree,
First
but then
degree.
you continued on.
Yeah, so
in an educational path that is, I want to say, very, very impressive.
thank you.
Because, Coach,
Thank
you
you.
not only have one master's,
I'm closing in on
you're
number
going
two.
But
So,
talk a little bit about that.
yeah, I mean, first I was out in Oklahoma coaching Division II football as a receiver coach and special teams coordinator, and you're out there and you're obviously working hard, but it was a pretty rural area, and so I figured, if I'm going to do anything with my free time, I might as well get a degree here.
Yeah.
And I knew a graduate degree would serve me well, and then got out to the junior college level, and really what you want in the junior college system is you need that degree in physical education or kinesiology.
Yes.
So started the process at Fresno Pacific University online, and actually it's ironic because my good buddy is a assistant basketball coach up there.
Oh, good.
So I'm fully enrolled this spring. I keep telling him, hey, if you need a point guard to come in, give you about 5 points and 15 turnovers, I'm your guy. But
Okay.
yeah, so
Well, Coach, now this is very impressive on your resume here because you continued in your passion and love for the game as a player. You were in different countries, in foreign countries, playing American football. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Finished up at Chapman. My last semester was fall of 2008, and 2-3 months later, I was fortunate enough to sign a contract with the Bolzano Giants of the Italian Football League. And if anyone's ever read Grissom's Playing for Pizza, I had, which is a huge mistake because it's a complete lie. It's just very, very glamorized, stylized, and so. You grow up as a kid in Seattle. You can drive 1,000 miles in any direction, speak English. It's no. All of a sudden, you get off a plane, and it wasn't like I was in Florence or Venice or Rome. I was in this tiny little northern Italian town where nobody spoke English. Everyone spoke Italian. If they didn't speak Italian, they spoke German. So, all those. It's similar to going through college and going through college football. You kind of you learn some things about yourself. There's some extremely rewarding moments. There's some extremely tough moments, but it was a huge payoff as far as we ended up winning that year. And then next year was able to sign a contract with a team in Austria, and Austria is the top league in Europe. And for me personally, being a small school guy, I wanted to challenge myself against the best, and had success in year one. And we were playing guys from there's one team that had 3 imports from Cal Berkeley, and we had success against them. So got to Austria, and very different culture, but. Managed to succeed there, and we won the championship there, and came back to Italy the next year as a chance to be a quarterback and coordinator, do the whole Peyton Manning bit at the line of scrimmage, and so did 2 more years in Italy, Bologna, and then Sicily. Which, if I was ever going to pick a second home, it would be down on the Rock there in Catania. I did very much enjoy my time in the south of Italy. So
Good.
I was blessed with some tremendous experiences and something unique, and it was a really unique process because spring seasons I would be playing out there, come back to my high school Meadowdale and coach in the fall, and it was almost just like this accelerated football vacuum that I was in that really helped me grow as a person, as a coach.
And as they would categorize it, that's a pro league. You're playing professionally.
No,
well?
absolutely.
Yes.
So a lot of your buddies go abroad and travel, and I honestly thought I'd just try and get a graduate assistant position and go that route, but someone said, "Hey, we'll pay you to play, and by the way, here's an apartment, and here's a check every month," and so it's a pretty good way to see Europe.
Well, Coach, seeing the game through professional eyes, we know just in a couple of more days it's Super Bowl 49, and I want to say you're leaning towards the Seahawks.
Absolutely. So, honestly, it's great rooting for the Seahawks right now. Of course, everyone you meet now suddenly is a Seahawks fan. I was there through the lean years, and we talked about it, in studio a little bit before this. But the Brian Blades, Rick Meyer, Joey Galloway, Kurt Warner, all those days when nobody else was a Seahawks fan, you put your lumps in. And I had that hometown pride, and so I can relate to a place like East Los Angeles where people are proud as hell of where they came from, and for me personally, I feel the same way, and so I'll never adopt other teams than the Seattle teams. That they're my hometown teams, and sometimes I'm a better fan than other years, but at the same time, that's where my heart is and my family is, and so that will always be a huge part of me.
Coach, and you said the word there. My next question here, or at least the concept here about your background on a family.
Yeah, absolutely.
And influencers, major individuals coming from family that guided you, molded you, and put you on your way.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first, start with my parents, and so they've been tremendous influences on my life. Still happily married, which is quite an accomplishment in today's society, and 2 adopted brothers from Bulgaria that they adopted when I was young, and so just remarkable human beings who feel like raised a tremendous family and really guided me and given me the discipline, yet the empowerment to go chase my dreams. Yes. My mom actually is from down the way. She went to Long Beach Poly. My dad's from Palo Alto, and so they met in college and eventually ended up in Seattle. But I have a lot of staying with my aunt and uncle right now in Long Beach till I get my apartment in L.A. And they've been tremendous influences on me, and I feel very, very fortunate to come from a large family, and I think a lot of those lessons of working with 4 other siblings in the house have served me well on both teams and coaching staffs.
Discipline.
Yes, flexibility.
Okay, Coach, on the lighter side now, when you want to go out to that movie or listen to music, some of the things that relax you, that you enjoy, in your spare time.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that's been great getting back out to Southern California is I started skimboarding when I was in college, which is kind of a derivative of surfing. If those of you that don't know it, I won't drown, but I'm a terrible swimmer. So surfing really wasn't my thing, but running from the beach and trying to skimboard. So my brother attends Azusa Pacific, and so we'll try and get out to Malibu or Laguna or wherever we can find some waves every now and then. But golfing's always a part of it. They say the better golfer you are, the worse coach you are. But I do have a number of hobbies, and I like to get out and work out and be active still. And so you got to find ways to enjoy your downtime, like you said. And so. Okay.
Well, we're going to continue down the category list. We said teams already. We know for pro football, it's the Seattle Seahawks. Any other teams that you like?
I mean, you have the Mariners. Obviously, the Sonics have dissipated into the Oklahoma air, but we won't talk about that here.
But they may come back.
I used to honestly be a pretty diehard Husky guy, but I think once you get away from your state, then you kind of adopt the Cougars, Washington State a little bit. You just want to see your home state have success, and so. That's ultimately who I'm pulling for, and I do appreciate other professional teams and organizations, a lot of the Patriots, because you have to respect what they do.
Of course. Some of your players.
Yeah.
Some of the favorite players you like?
Kind of jokingly, I put down Tony Romo. I love Tony Romo, and I've been on the Tony Romo bandwagon for years. Any guy that makes Jerry Jones' assembled roster look like a competent football team is a magician. I don't care what anybody says. So,
Okay.
no, but he was a small school
Yeah.
guy. Played a bunch
Sure.
of sports. And most people don't know he was Wisconsin's runner-up Mr. Basketball behind Caron Butler,
Yeah.
former
Yeah.
Laker. So the guy's a freak athlete,
Good.
and I think he does a lot more with less. And people often give him don't give him the benefit of the doubt, but just the way he plays the game and makes it look like schoolyard football at times. I mean, I think when you're playing football at that high level and you can make it look that simple at times, you're a pretty special guy.
Okay. Some movies.
Movies,
When
yeah.
Are we all moviegoers? And
No,
some,
no
some
doubt,
of
no
the
doubt.
ones you like.
So I mean,
Favorite movies?
honestly, Stand by Me is a classic. Coming of age tale.
Sure.
A Guide to Recognizing Your Saints is kind of a little lesser known movie, but it's got Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. Anyway, but it's a tale of a guy who moves from New York and ends up leaving home under kind of auspicious circumstances, leaves everything, his home, everything, and ends up in L.A. as an author and whatnot. But
okay.
I think as a guy who left home at 17, 18, you can relate to some of the tribulations of leaving home and leaving a lot of people behind that you love and care about deeply. Set out on your own at times, and it's tough. There's sacrifices on both ends, but movies I enjoy very much and can relate to.
Absolutely. And then, of course, some music. We all enjoy music in some way, shape, or form, and some genre.
Absolutely.
Same question.
So for me, my favorite band is the Roots. A lot of people know them now from Jimmy Fallon, but I mean I've probably seen 6 or 7 Roots concerts.
Okay.
They're a hip hop band, and Questlove, their drummer's really become quite famous. But dating back to high school, Rage Against the Machine. I was the biggest Rage Against the Machine fan. So when I was in college and they had a reunion show at Coachella, 2007 maybe.
Oh.
I was my brother and flew down my brother, and we headed out there, and we had a great time out in Indio and seeing those guys. And so I think part of that a little bit, you mellow over the years, you lose some of that high school angst, but at the same time they'll always be near and dear to my heart.
Okay. And, Coach, last category, your dearest family members that you may not have mentioned by name, but I know you'd like to.
I got an older sister, Lauren, who's been a tremendous influence on my life and given me some great advice over the years. 3 younger brothers, Martin, Kyle, and Brian, going from chronologically. Also, my cousin Tad is 10 years older, been a tremendous influence, kind of my childhood idol. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my high school coach, Mark Stewart, and played for him at Meadowdale, and then went back, coached my first 3 years under him. And you want to just talk about a quality individual and a great man. He was an All-American linebacker at the University of Washington, played in the NFL for a minute. And
nice.
Yet at the same time, the way he handles young men and without ego, you'd never know it. And so he's been a great mentor for me, and also understanding what good football is and isn't. We'll never agree necessarily on schematics and how to score points, but at the same time, it's just a certain, there's certain mathematical truths, and there's certain ways to play good football and sound football, and he's really instilled those values in me, and so I can't thank him enough for his mentorship.
Coach, we have been here literally for almost an hour, and it's been great learning and getting to know you. And this is our first step of knowing more about you as an individual and as a coach, and it's going to be one of our missions to follow you as strongly and as much as we can on East L.A. sports scene as you get into the program. So there may be times where we'll have you come back, or we'll go onto the field at school and
Anytime,
meet up with you. But now, as we do have to come to a close, Coach, I always give my guests the parting words. Any special message, anything you'd like to convey? This is your time, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean the most important message would be, as far as I'm concerned, there's 3 college football programs that matter right now in Southern California. There's USC, there's UCLA, and there's East Los Angeles College. So we're excited to get out in the community and meet recruits and do all those different things, and go Huskies, and we can't wait to get this thing going the right way.
Head coach Eric Marty, thank you for coming in.
Appreciate it, Rico.
Okay, and we will see you down the road
Absolutely.
here very, very soon. So for Eric Sarney, Mario Villegas, who's helped out with production tonight, and of course head coach Eric Marty, yours truly, Rico Cabrera, thanks for watching this edition of East LA Sports Scene. And remember, there's always something going on here in our community, whether it's football. I don't have my props here tonight, but there's volleyball, there's basketball, there's baseball, there's walking, there's jogging. But remember, get out there, treat your body right. It's the only one you have. You want to make it last as long as possible. And we leave you with our old adage, if you stay healthy, you will be wealthy. Please get out there and get that workout in, and we'll see you here on our next edition of East LA Sports Scene. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Take care.